Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Angela Brennan and today I'm going to be using the Spellbinders Circular Stitch Background die. I've been waiting for this for ages. You know how I like to sew on cards. So these comes in two portions and you can either cut this directly onto the card and sew there, or cut it out and then sew it and then attach it to the card. So I'm going to do the latter because I like having it separate. So in order to get a perfect A2 stitch, what I will do is I will put some tape here, align this so it's perfectly aligned, and guys, a nice thin border, and then I place my card on it. And here, and I put it through the die cutting machine. Here it is once I've put it through the die cutting machine. So it comes out quite easily. So I've actually started quite a few of this. I'm going to show how there's a few types of threads you can use with this, because it is quite a versatile way to use this, and there's so many patterns you can sew all of it. So I'll show some of what I've done, and then I'll show you what threads I use and what is it I do. So this here, I sewed this. Now I got carried away. I sewed every single bit of it. Where I could sew, I sewed. And for this, I used the DMC Diamant threads. So I got a whole set of these, and I used this. I used Christmas colors here: gold, silver, red, and green. Now this is quite thin. I just used one layer of it. So you could do. So I'm going to show you how I use this. I'm going to try it on this one here. So what I'll do this time is I'm going to use 2 layers. This is 1 layer. I'm going to use 2 layers and see how it goes. Now the recommendation is that you use, if you're going to use DMC 6 strand, you use 2 strands and you use a size 22 needle. So I'm using quite a small needle here. I used a threader, and I'm going to double it this time. The card previously I showed, this one. That's a single layer of thread, and now I'm doing a double layer of thread. And how do I sew this? So now you can use a cellophane tape or whatever tape to secure it. So what I tend to do is I pull it all the way and I hold it at the end here. Just hold it at the end here, and then you pull it through. But see, I'm holding that here, but when I put it here, I get it to cross over here, so it secures the thread. It secures. Now it's a little bit harder with the metallic threads. You need to hold it a bit more. With the normal DMC threads, it's not as hard, but it's worth it. I just love the shine of this thread. So you can keep going. So when you come to the end of your thread, you can just thread it in behind and just knot it here. And you can secure it. You can still secure it with a piece of tape. You can still, after that, because this metallic thread, the tension is not as great, so you can still secure it with a piece of thread, a piece of tape, sorry, and just cut the balance off. And continue. It does look nice with 2 threads. Now I won't continue with this, but I'm going to show you a different type of thread now. So the other type of thread that I've used is this. This is the DMC Pearl number 5. So with this I only use 1 strand. So let me show what I do with this instead. Now I'm going to use a DMC, a 22 needle, sorry, a 22 needle. Let me get a tapestry number 22 needle. This is the recommended needle, number 22, on a tapestry number 22 needle. You can get it from most sewing shops actually. So I have to take it out. So let me use this with this number 5 pearl thread. There's a number 3 one which is slightly better, thinner as well, but I just got this. So I'm going to show this how. Now, I've already got it cut, right? So I've done quite a bit on this card already. So I just wanted to show you how I do the half circle as well as the quarter circle. So same concept. You pull it here and you hold it. So this one, because it's not a metallic thread, it's got more tension. It holds better. So you just need to, so you hold it here, and again, you see it crosses over. When you reach the end, same thing. This bit here. So what I tend to do is here I'm using a DMC thread, and this is a 6-strand thread, 6-strand, but I'm only using 3 strands. Now the recommendation is to use 2 strands on the packaging that comes with this die, but I've decided to use 3 strands, sorry, because I like it. That's 3 strands. It looks a little bit thicker than the others, so I'm going to use 3 strands. And again, when you remove the strands, do not take out 3 together. Remove one by one. If you take all 3 together, it will get knotted and it'll be wasted. So remove one by one. So just now you saw me do the circle with the metallic thread. Now with this thread, it's going to be a lot easier because that's the right tension in this. The metallic thread, the tension is not as good, so you got to hold it. And I do like to secure it with cellophane tape or some sort of tape at the back, because I just feel it will slip. It's a lot easier to sew with the DMC thread. The metallic thread takes a lot more effort, I must say, and you need to hold it a lot more, so it is a little bit harder. So if you're new to sewing, you probably want to start with cotton threads, DMC threads like this. The 6-strand threads is easier, or even the pearl thread, where you don't even have to split the strands, you just use it as is. So there's a size 5 and a size 3. Both look good, I think. I don't have any size 3s, so I've only got size 5s. But they're a little bit dearer than the 6-strand threads from DMC, but lovely all the same. There's quite a lot of these threads out in the market. You can get a whole bundle from Amazon, but they don't have that shiny sheen that you can see on DMC threads. I mean, it'll do the job, but it's not as nice. It's a lot cheaper, and there's a reason for it. So you really get what you pay for. And I like to get DMC threads, and I wait for a sale. I think I get mine the Lakeside Needlecraft. I mean, that's in the UK. So they have very good service, and they've got a good range, and they do have sales quite often. So I tend to get my threads when there is a sale. So when there are some bits that not been pushed out, I just push it out as I sew it. It's not a big deal to me, because some of them, the backing, the paper backing is still there. So final bit, I need to get more thread. I'm going to show you how I split the thread. So here we go. So you've got 6 strands here. You pull one, pull another, and you pull the final one. And you leave these 3 on its own, and then you just take the 3 together. Now I'm going to show you how I sew these circles. These circles, now I don't have to do it, but I kind of like the contrast of the green with the reds. So this is what I do with these circles. I sew them every other. So I don't sew this one, I go here. And then I go back here, secure the thread. Then I go to the, don't go to the next one. So I do 2 at a time, basically. There we have it. Now I'm not going to do the half circles because I did it in this one and I'm not too keen on it. So here I got carried away. As you know, I love stitching cards. So you saw this one. You see the difference between these two, the threads. You can see the difference. Let me get closer. You can see the difference in the threads. And then here, what I did is I did a double metallic thread. I used the Altenew thread. So Altenew, they have metallic threads. So I use a double of this thread. So it does look, so this is double and single. So you can see the difference. And then I did this one. So you don't have to just use it. They look like baubles, so you don't have to just use it as Christmas cards. This one is just different colored. And here, I did the middles differently. I went for like a star shape. A 6-pointer star. So this one I kept it really simple. And then this is on craft card. I stuck with some pastel colors. And this is modern Christmas colors, as I call them. And this is the one with the pearl cotton. These are all the cards I've done. I can go on sewing them, so I had to stop somewhere. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to tidy all this up away and see how I finish these cards with some greetings. The greetings these greetings. And I'll show you what I do with the greetings, how I prepare the greetings. Now I was going to use hot foil greetings, but I didn't have the chance to get that done. But instead I'm going to use the mini Christmas greetings stamp set from Spellbinders, and I'm going to show you how I print or stamp many sentiments. As I'm going to make quite a few Christmas cards from now on, I decided to get quite a few sentiments ready. I'm going to produce many greetings at the same time. This is from Spellbinders mini Christmas greetings. I'm going to stamp a whole load of them on black card. I'm going to get them organized on the door of my Misty. I used the grid on my Misty to line up the sentiments that I wanted to stamp onto black card. So I'm going to pick it up with my Misty Doll. There you go. So that's, I can do all the sentiments, and there's a die which I can cut them out. So I'm going to prep my card with some anti-static powder. This is to make sure. So I'm going to do one in, I'm going to do it in multiple colors. So I think the first one I'll do it in white. White, fine, super fine white embossing powder. Because these are all new stamps, I'm just getting the sheen that comes with a new stamp. I just rub my finger against it, or you could use one of those erasers, but this will do. And then I'm going to be tapping it with Versamark ink. This is a sticky ink that will pick up all the embossing powder that I'm going to sprinkle on it after it's stamped onto the card. This is the die that comes to cut out each of the sentiments. Now I could either use this or use my die cutting machine, my cutter, my guillotine to cut this. I'm going to show you how I use my Tim Holtz guillotine to cut this out. I line this up right to the edge here. You want to make it really straight. And you can see here, so I'm just going to you get a nice thin strip of sentiment. So what I'll do is in between, I will just cut that off. So this is a spare, so I can use this as a mat for the sentiments, and then I can go on cutting like this. Just follow the 1/4 inch mark on the guillotine itself. Now, if you want to use the die that comes with it, you can just do that. So you need to do it once on this side one. So I would want a bit of a space there, because if I give it space, then later if I don't want it, I can always cut it off when I'm making my card. So I'll secure it at that end. I'll also secure it at this end. And I'll put it to the die cutting machine. So if you want to cut the other side, you just match it up again. But when you cut it through your die cutting machine, you just need to go at the top there. You don't have to go through all the way. Now all these mats all these strips of blank can be used as mats for these cards. So you can use it as a mat to layer it on. So I won't be throwing this, or you could even stamp on this separately. So I'll keep all of these. Now, how do I cut this? Now you can use the scissors, but what I tend to do is use the trimmer. So I will put it and make sure that the final alphabet comes right up to the finger guard, and then I'll press it and just go like that. So, and the same thing I'll do this side. So I'll have equally spaced. Just hold it on. So you see, you've got equal spaces on both sides. So I'm going to do that for all of these because it's actually really easy, and you can also do a few at a time. All you need to do is line them up. So I'm going to just line all this up. So I'll line them up here. I tend to do 3 at a time because if not, it gets a little bit wonky. So you just line up the last alphabet in the greeting, and then just put it. I'll cut all of this. Let me zoom in. So I made in various colors, gold, white, and I even printed, stamped and embossed on white with gold, gold and white. And I like this darker gold with white on it. But I also did white on white. Why did I do white on white? Because of the embossing, any ink I put on this white card will be resisted. So I'll show you later when I put my cards together. This craft card, I was going to put a sentiment, but I wanted the sentiment to be in this blue. So this is what I'm going to do. Taking broken china. See, it resists. It will resist the and you get this. When it's a bit drier, I will wipe it and then it'll buff their white. Now to assemble this card. So I've got A2 card here, and at the back of this I've put very narrow strips of foam tape so that it gives it a bit of sturdiness. But because there are so many holes here, I decided to put a gold card against it. So when you look at the light, you can see the gold through all the little holes. And these are the sentiments I made earlier. I cut this out. And these little ones here are from the Spellbinders Christmas Bloom die set. I decided I didn't want to have a bold color, so I went with whites, golds, and grays here. And this is the card. I adhered some Spellbinders gold gems. I love these. They're self-adhesive embellishments. So you come in quite a few sizes, but I tend to use the tiny ones more. I have a whole load of big ones which I've not used, but anyhow. So I've put a gem in the middle of every single little one, and I think it's really pretty. This time, pretty much similar arrangement, but this time I stuck it all together so it's easier, and then I'll place it here. So I'm going to put some foam tape on this, some dimensional adhesive. I'm putting some liquid glue on the foam adhesive because I want to give myself some wiggle room in case I place it incorrectly. Very similar to this one. The color scheme's different. The next cards I'm going to try something different and see how it goes. I'm going to put some gems here. I'll put the gems here, and then you can see it when I do the roundup of all the cards. I finally finished embellishing all the 9 cards I've made. Let me go through with you one by one how I embellished them. So I used a white poinsettia from the Spellbinders Christmas Bloom set, and didn't want to add too much color, so I kept the leaf grey and stuck to neutral colors on this one. I really liked how this turned out with a double Altenew metallic thread. Not the easiest to sew with metallic thread. It's easier to sew with the DMC cotton thread, either the pearl or the 6 strand, but I do love the effect it has, and look at the shine it gives you. It's really pretty. I love the neutral colors as well. The next one is also quite neutral, but this is DMC white thread that I used, so it's easier to sew. And I also sewed the middle with some darker grey thread than just to keep it quite, keep the colors to minimal. And these outline Christmas tree and fir tree really is from Alexander Renke, the dies. All of the details of the products I use will be on my blog, so do head over to my blog. The link is in the description below and check it out. Now this card, I kept it quite silvery blue, but I introduced some green, and I wasn't sure whether to put this Christmas tree in. I've just put it in there. I'm still thinking about it. So I might put it in, I might put it not, leave it in. So you can leave the Christmas tree in and just send it as a Christmas card, or sending hugs is quite a neutral sentiment. So it could be, you know, a birthday card for somebody during Christmas time. It really depends. If it's a birthday card, I'll probably take the Christmas tree out and leave the poinsettias there because they're quite pretty. So it's quite versatile. You don't just have to use it for Christmas. Though my next card is very Christmassy, very Christmas colors. This is the first one I did with the pearl, number 5 pearl thread from DMC. And all of the sentiments are from the same Spellbinders Christmas greeting set. I'll put the full details in the blog. And again, this one, Christmas colors, same dye from Alexander Renke. Now this one, I used the diamond DMC metallic threads. It took me the longest to do this card because I wanted to, this is the first one I did, so I wanted to sew every single possible hole available. But I must say, I'm not too keen on that look. I prefer it with just the you know, the snowflake bursts, if you like, or star bursts, if you want, whatever you want to call it. Just that sewn, keeping it simple. I think getting the stitching lines and all, probably not the best idea, but it is still a lovely card. I love the metallic thread. Metallic thread, again, as I said, not the easiest. If you're starting off with sewing, it's probably best not to start with metallic thread. Go with the cotton thread, the DMC pearl or the DMC 6 strand. Probably be easier. And this is not quite a Christmas card, but it's also around that themed. So it's just a New Year card for some friends who don't quite get into Christmas, but very much into New Year. And this one, I remember I stamped some sentiments with white on white like this, where you've got a white card with a white heat embossed sentiment. And that's why I did it, because you can get it colored. So I used distress oxide inks and colored this into the color to match the background of the stamp of this card. So it's quite versatile that way. It's quite handy to have these sentiments available if you don't have a card that quite matches it. And I kept all of this white with some pool colored gems. I love the way this card turned out. I really like this card. Probably be doing more on craft card, the neutral look. And this is not a Christmas card, but it can be for any occasion. And the colors are quite neutral. Again, at the same technique with the Distress Oxide inks. So it can be delivering warm hugs, eat, drink, and merry. It could be a birthday card, it could be a celebratory card of any sort, and some white flowers again. And finally, for the last card, another non-Christmas card. This is not a Christmas card. And so I kept the sentiment quite simple. Hello you, it could be hello you, happy birthday. Hello you, I hope you feel better soon. Hello you, congratulations on your recent success. So you keep it a simple sentiment. I decided to put, rather than go with white, used the colors of the thread on the card and put the tiny flowers here. It takes a little bit of time, but I really love how this card turned out. So here are all the cards I've made with the Spellbinders Circular Stitch Background die, which I absolutely love. Now, though it's a stitching die, you don't have to stitch on it. If you don't like stitching, you could just die cut it and put some colorful card behind it, and you can see the color through the holes that you've die cut. Now, clearly I won't do that because I love stitching on cards, but I've got a few more Spellbinders dies come in that require stitching, and I'm so gleeful about it. So that'll be my subsequent videos, but I'm starting to get into Christmas cards, so I'm going to be making more Christmas card videos. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and remember to press the notification bell so you're alerted when a new video is uploaded. And do head over to my blog where I'll have the details of everything I've used, close-up pictures of the cards, so you can see how the flower arrangements are and get some ideas if you want on how to finish out the cards with embellishments and the sentiments, etc. The link to my blog is in the description below. Thank you for stopping by and happy crafting. I'll catch you at my next video. Take care.